best draft pick of the ShanaLynch era?
I can start off. I mean, I feel like Kittle is going to be everyone's first choice, but I think that Tarvarius Moore was a good one. And then also Fred Warner. And if you can are we counting undrafted free agents in this section or free agents?
Well, undrafted free agents aren't picks. So I would have to say those are signings.
Okay.
Those are signings.
So then I'd go Kittle and Warner are 1 and 2.
Sure. Okay. All right. Well, you got to explain why. I mean, a lot of people are going to argue with you on that. Kittle, Fred Warner, you kidding?
Yeah,
How can you justify that?
Warner's pretty good. That's all I'll say.
Okay, fair enough.
Nick Bosa. I'm still going to say, even though the 49ers lost, he was the best player on that field during the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes was okay. Threw 2 interceptions, wasn't his normal game. Nick Bosa was a problem that entire game. And if no one believes me, ask Eric Armstead. There's a reason he has a lot of zeros in his bank account, and I think that has to do with Nick Bosa.
Good point. I think Kittle is you got to go with Kittle just because it's a later draft pick. Kittle and Warner are probably, I don't know, have maybe had an equal impact on the Niners, but because Kittle was the 5th round and Warner was in the 3rd round, I'll go with Kittle there. I think there's a good argument to be made for Bosa. I just think it was a little bit more of an obvious selection. But whenever you pick a guy like Kittle in the 5th round, I think it's a fair question to ask, why didn't you get a guy like that in the 4th round or the 3rd round? So, I think that's a fair question too. But
I like that.
Someone said Reuben Foster.
No, of course. The thing about Kittle is that we don't know what, I mean, we're at this point, he's their best pick, but there's going to be another 10 years and there's the future, and we don't know what he's going to be like in the future. And if I had to project, I'm sorry to be negative, but I think his best years are probably behind him. He plays a very physical brand of football, and his body started to break down this year. I think when it's all said and done, when these guys are all retired in 20 years from now, it's very possible that Deebo Samuel will be the one who has the best career of these guys. He could end up with the most touchdowns, the most yards, the best career. I mean, Fred Warner's excellent player, plays a high contact position. Same with George Kittle. They may not last as long. Deebo may have some longevity, although his style of play is pretty high contact, and he's had injury issues too. I'd say Deebo's in the running, and he may pull away from them down the line, but he's still getting started.
Mm-hmm. Hold up, Grant. That was a big statement there, man. I haven't heard that from many other people saying that Kittle's best days might be behind him. Is that based off of how he's going to recover from this injury, or what you've seen on tape prior to the injury?
I don't know. It just seemed to me that this was inevitable. I guess it's just my bias, my assumptions, that the way he plays, given what happened to Gronkowski, that these things were going to start happening eventually. And now that it's happened once, twice, I don't know. I guess that would be the expectation, but who knows how he could play 16 games next year. Who knows? It'd be great. I don't know. What do you think, Tony? Make a really irresponsible prediction right now.
I think just because he's so young, if he was 32, I would agree with you right away. But I think because he's a little bit younger, how old is Kittle? Oh, you're looking at me. How old is Kittle?
Yeah, how old is Kittle? Tell me. No.
I was gonna say 27.
He's 27.
He's 20. Okay, yeah. So I mean, he's still young enough where I think he can bounce back from these injuries. And that guy is so full of passion that I mean, I think it's unfair for any of us to say, oh, this guy's going to be good in rehab. This guy's going to, Kittle is working his butt off right now, and in any rehab he has ever done and ever will in the future. So that just gives me a little more confidence that I think he's still got a lot more years left in him.